cue here. Spotlight on. We've got a few people still walking in, but why don't we kick it off? Thank you for joining us today. My name is LaDawn, Head of Advisor and Financial Institution Marketing at Cetera. You're going to hear from a very dynamic group of your peers here. Valerie, a key leader on my team, will be moderating the discussion. You'll hear about how they're leveraging data, building strong online presence, leveraging our marketing programs, deepening client relationships, and a lot more, some fun along the way, but primarily all to drive organic growth. So with that, I will turn it to Valerie, and we will take questions at the end. So if you don't mind holding your questions, please, until the end. That would be great. We've got mic runners, and we will be sure to leave enough time. As well, one more mention that we do have a Marketing Connection Lounge. If you have not stopped by yet to see us, we are in Cypress Alcove 1. I think we've got a bit of time before the closing general session. If you'd like to come by and speak to us as well afterwards, you're welcome to. Valerie,
thank you. Thank you, LaDawn, and thank you everyone for attending this session. We're really excited to talk to you today about marketing solutions to fuel smarter growth. And the panel of experts that we have here, I think, will each have something that you can take away from this session. But I'll start with introductions. As LaDawn said, my name is Valerie Carboni. I'm part of our advisor marketing team. Specifically for me, I've worked historically with the advisor channel. I've been with Cetera a little over 2 years, and I've been supporting a lot of the advisors in the advisor channel, so communities, Cetera Wealth Partners, Cetera Advisors, and Summit as well. But we have teams like mine for all channels. So definitely, like Yvonne said, visit our booth. We should have a representative for your specific channel and community that you can speak with, so you can get some more details about the marketing resources here at Cetera. So that's just a little bit about me, but I think who you really want to hear from is our panel of experts right beside me. So for each of you, let's go down the line. If you could each introduce yourselves, a little bit about your company, your client mix, advisory mix, just so that we have a little bit of context around the marketing solutions that you utilized and that we offered for you. So Brett, I'll start with you.
So Brett Amendola, 34 years in the business. Oyster Square Advisors is officed in New Haven, Connecticut. Best pizza in the country, by the way. There's 12 of us, there'll be 13 of us as of next month. We are in the high net worth, ultra high net worth business owner professional space, and we're north of 50% in our fee base.
Oh, and the community.
Oh, sorry, CWP.
Thank you. Tracy.
I am Tracy Sapp. My firm is TSAP Financial Partners in Atlanta, Georgia. We primarily work with high-achieving women and their families at various stages of their financial journey. I'm with Summit, and my practice is a combination of advisory, financial planning fees, some 401k.
Dominic DeAndre, Pandora Wealth Management, part of the Cetera Investors Channel. I've been doing this 31 years, predominantly pre-retirees and retirees, and we're third, insurance third, annuities and third advisors.
And I'm Paul Ewing, and I am a former advisor, reformed advisor in Kansas City. Just retired on the 31st. Yeah, I know, right? I did go to my first business meeting a week ago Monday, and I told them, I said, it feels like a Monday after a 115-day weekend. It's awesome. So I retired as CEO of an ensemble practice that works as an enterprise, which means you have a single client service model in multiple locations. We're in 6 locations across the country, and $2.8 billion in assets, and it's virtually all advisory at this point.
Thank you. All right, so if we can harken back to yesterday, if we can remember that far back to yesterday morning, I know a lot happened between now and then. We presented in the general session about this hot topic, and we related it back to the Hogwarts houses in Harry Potter. By show of hands, has anyone taken the marketing sorting hat quiz? Anyone take that? I say a few of you? Okay, if you haven't already, it's a great way to understand from all of the suggestions up here what might be a good match for you. So definitely suggest taking that quiz. You can, again, visit our Advisor Marketing Lounge, and we have that QR code that you can scan for a little bit more information. But I saw a few hands up, but definitely want to see a few more so that we can help you all out. But from our panelists here, you guys probably didn't take the quiz, but you kind of know what you relate to and what marketing solutions you've used. So, Paul, I'll start with you. Which one did you relate most to?
Yeah, and, right. You want to talk about?
Yeah, a little bit about Marketing Central.
Okay, so, my big involvement with Cetera, one of my imprints has been in carrying Cetera, and so I'm very actively engaged in that. And, we have 3 mandates there. It is to assist people in our area, in our community during their time of need, personal tragedy. We also leave a charitable footprint in the places where we meet. And then finally, we respond to natural disasters in the communities where we live and work. And so it seems more and more frequently we're getting more emergency natural disasters occurring in the areas. Earthquakes, wildfires, hurricanes, tornadoes, flooding. You go down the list and say, oh my. And it was good that we were able to provide response relief and funds, but it occurred to me that it was time for us to do more. It was time to help our clients both be prepared for these emergency events, but also for us to be actively communicating on what we're doing now. And so we started working internally on that. We came up with some ideas on how to do it. We went to LaDon. LaDon put it in Valerie's capable hands, and I scheduled a follow-up meeting with her to give it another kick to make sure it got started, and she showed me the completed project. And it's amazing, because we literally had a wildfire in California lighting a match under us to get it done quickly.
Yeah.
And so if you've not seen that, I really want to encourage you to look at that tool, because all of you have clients that are going to be impacted. It's just a matter of time, and to be able to communicate quickly. If you think about how does this become marketing, well, finish the sentence for me. Clients don't care what you know until they know that you care. And this is a way to make an impactful caring statement. Now, if you use Redtail or this, are there other?
We'll get into that a little bit later.
Okay,
we'll get into the
great.
details.
It's a phenomenal tool, and I highly encourage you to know.
Awesome. Thank you. All right. So Dominic, what about you? What marketing solutions have you been utilizing?
I'm a combination of all the houses that any of them mean, but I have a blend of all of them. I mean, Growth Planner, we're going to talk about shortly. The website is phenomenal. I won't go into detail on that. The lead gen software and everything, again, phenomenal. We'll go on into that shortly. So just a combination.
Tracy, what about you?
Same. Marketing Central, ATS, Intelligence Engine, Jump AI, our rep chat, all different things. Growthline.
Yeah, you've been utilizing them all. Brett, what about you?
I think I'm a strong Gryffindor. I'd love to say I'm Slytherin, but that didn't get names or an option. I'm just thinking, I think it's cool.
Yeah, no, you're a strong Gryffindor, and many people want to be a Gryffindor, so
Okay.
let's get into that. We related Gryffindors to our Growthline program, which Brett participated in a couple of years ago. You actually, as we talked about already in the general session, you came over to Cetera without a brand, so we created one from scratch, a full brand strategy. So take us through it. Take us through the process that you went through and the key elements of your brand strategy that are still working for you today.
So I would say we were very sure of who we were and who we served, do business with, wanted to do business with. And we were leaving a firm that didn't understand us. We weren't aligned with. We probably didn't understand them either. And it was a great experience in that we got to control it, start from scratch, and it was unbelievably thoughtful and thorough, thought-provoking. And the CWP breakout this morning, someone talked about going through it, and we did spend a lot of hours on the phone with the team, just answering questions, talking, discussing, thinking about words, thinking about the importance of language. You and I built another website. You know, I was a little nuts about what pictures were going to be used. I wanted to make sure they were actually things in our world, not some stock photo of California and we're in Connecticut, or Disney World and we're in Connecticut. And there were some unique things about our marketplace, where we live in Connecticut or in southern New England. It's actually the most Italian-American place in the country. And we wanted to make sure we touched on that. Worcester Square is actually about those roots, where many of us came from and how we came up. You do not have to be Italian-American to work with us. But we were able to create a continuum, which started with LinkedIn, went to our website, our business cards, the private briefings that we do, the colors, the very limited things we're willing to put our brand on. It really has helped us to be who we are, and we know we went from 0 LinkedIn followers to 2,000 LinkedIn followers, and somebody asked me before how I did that. Well, it wasn't me, it was we, and it's a lot of work. We talk about it all the time. The underpinnings of it are Marketing Central, and I didn't really understand that even before we were here a day, and the person that was helping us was before we were here, so we're going to link this, or I said, how do we get the marketing stuff on there? It was just awesome, right? The fact that it's underpinned with, Redtail, Marketing Central, and Cetera Investment Management. It makes our life super simple. We push the stuff out. We make sure we engage with it. We watch the data for who and how and where it's looking at our website. And we're definitely getting the results we want. But we drive it. It's not static.
Yeah.
We talk about it all the time. We use it in meetings. We drive people to it. We got somebody in our market, I think, went to our website to confirm we were real, then sent us an email through it, and just opened a $2 million account. So it is real. It does work.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for taking us through that. Dominic, you also went through the growth line process a little bit more recently. You already had a website, you had a brand, you've had that for years, but we refreshed it. We gave it kind of a facelift, and it's been helping to, on that lead generation side, not just the brand awareness, but now true lead generation. So take us through some of the elements of your growth line process.
The first thing I want to say is you guys all have a great advantage by being here, because you're learning about this stuff. Last year, I was at Connected Peers, and I was sitting with Don and another Cassidy at a table, and somebody was up here on their stage at Nashville, and they talked about growth line. And I looked at Cassidy and Don, and I said, what is growth line? And I'm like, oh, well, it's not in the Cetera Investors line yet, but it's coming. But we're going to put you on the list, so we were what I believe the first Cetera Investors website done, because I came to Connected Peers. So ours is done. It's been nothing but amazing. People said I had a good website prior. Now I've got a testimonial page, which has been one of our #1 pages in drawing people, because people get to see a story. I think we're up to like 27 testimonials since we've been adding it, and we add it as we talk to the clients. My In the News page, which I've had the wonderful opportunity of being in a lot of different publications and TV shows. I'm able to edit that so much better than the previous iteration of our website. So it's just bringing people to us. The greatest story I heard in the last 4 months was one of the clients I brought on. I asked him, what made you pick us? Because he did a Google search. He told me they narrowed down to 7 advisors that they were thinking about talking to. And when they looked at the 7 advisors' websites, they said by far ours was the most professional. So that's why they chose us, because they liked how it was laid out, they liked everything was transparent. Like, some of you are scared to put your fees on your website. We have a transparency and fee page. And it's been another great site page to go looking at, because they know what they're to expect and what it's going to cost them. And I direct new prospects to it before they sit down with me, because I want them to understand what they're going to potentially pay after our meeting. So when I bring it up and say, okay, well, you don't have the assets, so it's going to cost you X dollars, they're not arguing with it. They're not saying, oh my God, really? Because I set them up to know about it. So if you're able to go through the process, or you're looking to update it was an amazing process. They walk you, like Brent said, they walk you through step by step. There was 3 or 4 meetings. They even give you ideas that I didn't think of doing photos. We delayed our website by 2 weeks, because we had a photographer in the office. We took pictures of of us individually, took pictures of us as a team. My dog is my chief rollover specialist. He's in pictures on the website. Like we're in a conference, he's sitting there with the device looking at his work with us. And you know what? I've got clients because that people love dogs, they love kids. So by seeing our families, by seeing, we even had a couple come in. So instead of having stock meeting photos, the meetings are us and clients on the pictures. So if they're creative, they're gonna help you, definitely work yourself through it.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Tom. I love the chief rollover special. That's really near and dear to my heart. All right, so kind of switching gears, we've talked about brand awareness and acquiring new clients, but we on the advisor marketing team also really key into the fact that it's important to be communicating with your clients regularly. We believe that that's another way that you can expand and grow and, number one, reduce churn, and that's also a really great growth lever to utilize. So Paul, I'm going to come back to you. You kind of already gave the audience a little bit of a preview of how you came up with the campaigns around the emergency planning and communications kit, but can you give a little bit more detail now that we have the visual on the screen?
So it's actually a tool for Marketing Central, but it's also AdviceWorks, because you can build this out as robustly as you would like, as, I guess, if you care about your clients or not. Well, we'll see, won't we?
I'm gonna bet they'll care because they want to learn.
They're in the room school, that's good. So you know, you can use AdviceWorks to populate critical data into that vault. So when the unthinkable has occurred and they don't have access to anything else, they still have important information like where's that insurance policy, where's those tax returns, where's the stuff they're going to need because they're requesting financing, right? If they've lost everything. That is something you can do for them. But also Marketing Central can send out before an event, if you know it's coming, immediately after the event, and a follow-up and a check-in afterwards. And those can be customized to give the kind of tone that your office conveys. It's like, we're here for you kind of thing. However you want to, if you want them to have your personal cell phone number to call you during that time, all of those things mean a lot to those folks. Marketing Central is very intentionally using a lot of the resources that are available inside of FEMA. If you, in your CRM, put tags of city, state, and zip code, then you can actually, Marketing Central you can search by that and send specifically to the people in Kerr County, Texas, and say that this is tragedy. I know it's got to be just breathtaking. I pray that you weren't impacted and pray for those who were, but if you were, here are some resources that you might need. To be able to do that is something, every one of us would agree would be something we'd love to do. But what are the chances that this comes up on a day that you don't have 6 appointments that day? You know what I mean? But with Marketing Central, it just happens. You just put in the city, the state, the zip code, and out it goes. This is a huge list for you guys, and I hope you guys will take it seriously.
Yeah. This is one example of kind of some of the custom content that we've created here at Cetera based on advisor feedback. So Paul, we really thank you for having this idea. We come up with ideas on our own. We have our quarterly marketing plans that we publish each quarter with new ongoing content, but having these specific ideas and new ways that we can engage with clients is really important to our advisor marketing team. So do reach out to your regional growth teams who can connect us with our team and make sure that we have fresh new content in there that's going to be applicable to your client. So thank you, Paul, for taking us through that.
You did the work.
All right, so Tracy, I'm going to turn to you because you have also used the Marketing Central system quite a bit. You're a power user, I would say, of the system, and you've created a lot of your own custom content, not just sending out the content that we create, but creating your own newsletters, creating your own events through the tool. So take us through your usage and how you feel like it's effectively helped you grow.
So we started using Marketing Central and used all the content that was in there, but we changed it and started using it and customized it more for our clientele. we divided our client communications into two different categories because I have 401k clients and individuals. And so clients, prospects, everybody, they get something, and the 401k people get something else. We use it for, to execute our annual communication calendar where every month we have a certain topic that's going out. Even if it's a market update by Gene Goldman or one of our strategists, I'll put my 2 cents at the beginning, usually using ChatGPT to figure out what my 2 cents actually is, before we send out the commentary. And we change the picture. So we have monthly communications, we have a quarterly, kind of what's happening at the firm, newsletter that goes out, we use it for events. We use it for, we have a new prospect series where you can set up a series of messages to go out over, once a month, once every 3 weeks, for prospects to, hey, you met with us and you haven't made a decision yet. Here's what you need to know, and, direct them to other pieces of information. We have a new client series that goes out. And what I like about it is a couple of things. I found that even though we do a lot of custom stuff, it's not as important that it is custom. It's really just that you're in front of your clients. Because I can't tell you how many times we send something out and a response comes back. It's just like, ooh, so great to hear that your daughter's going to college next year. Hey, I want to talk to you about this. And it's just a trigger for them to remember to reach out because they're busy too. So that's been a really good benefit of it. With the events piece, it's very easy, right? So you get all the information there. It manages the RSVPs, it manages the follow-up thank you messages, and with the tags and how you're able to send it out to a big group of people with one single email, we actually had an event in April, and 2 days before the event, the venue told us that they had double booked, and we had to figure out something. So, got with my friend of mine that knows every place in the city. She suggested a couple of restaurants. We were able to find another place, very quickly send out one message, really with just changing a click and, hey, life happens, we're having a change and hope to see you at this new location. And it immediately went out to everybody. We followed up with my rep chat, so everyone also received a text. We asked them to respond, confirm, so we knew they would be there. And had an amazing event. We picked up a new client for that event, and 3 existing clients were there that added more assets to their account just based on the topic we were talking about. So it's just very easy. And I've even found that sometimes when we might just send an email to a few clients, we'll do it through Marketing Central because I can see if they've opened it, I can see if they clicked through. There's data on the back end, which is more than just, I sent the email, hope they got it, and it goes to spam or whatever. So I think the way that it's changed our practice is it helps to build a community. We also use it for social media and LinkedIn commentary, so content. So, you put it in there, it automatically goes through compliance, and it's posted in the different places that you want it to be posted. So it's been great for us in that way. I think that you don't even have to do the custom content. I have a marketing partner that makes it look pretty for me, and we work very well together. She's not even a financial person, sorry. She's not even a financial person, but she's gotten to know my language. We have our own little section in ChatGPT that's just about my business. I dump in all my information, so she uses my ChatGPT to kind of come up with some content, so it's really in our tone and to our clients. Yeah, so it's been great for us to maintain those client relationships and secure new business.
Yes, thank you for bringing up that tip, that we can rely on AI for these types of things. You can always personalize it from there, you don't want it to sound like not us, but yes, but and even the content that we upload, it's meant to be something that, you can pick up and utilize, but you can also personalize. Thank you, Tracy. I think another way that we've seen advisors utilize content in Marketing Central quite often is the Cetera Investment Management commentary, and they'll send out weekly, monthly, quarterly, throughout the year, and then also on an ad hoc basis, they'll send out some details. But Brett, through the market volatility that we've had over the past year, I know that's kind of sparked some new conversations with your clients. How has that gone, and how do you feel like the resources that Cetera has had have helped along the way?
Yeah, it's gone well, and the resources were fantastic. In the last 12 months, we had the election, we had what was it, Independence Day. And I think we all know statistically the elections aren't really a big market issue. But we started last early fall and did a Zoom with Gene Goldman to reach out to our clients and make sure they knew we were around. Then we started calling with the election. Then as the new year came and we got closer to the inauguration, we called even more. We actually, Gene came out and did a client event for us. We had 160 something people in the room. We called those private briefings. I think you had a picture of it before the one
Yeah.
that posted it. And then by the time we got to Independence Day, our clients knew we were out there. They knew we were on top of it. I think they know that anyway. But Independence Day was my birthday. The next day, which was not a great birthday gift. The next day I was in a conference all day. I'm going back to the train station. I was in the city, going back to Connecticut. And I looked on social media, and one of our best clients, had his first hole-in-one. And I called him, and he said, he answers and says, I know you're on top of the market. And I said, no, I'm calling to talk about your hole-in-one. And it was such a connection, right? It was a validation that they know we're there, they know we're on top of it. I think we needed to do those steps because of kind of where we're positioned and who we compete with in the marketplace. But it was also at the same point perfunctory. We made execution easy. We're very much on top of the pieces that Cetera Investment Management pushes out, or produces, and then we push out to Marketing Central. But then we always follow up on it. It's not just an email. We want to make it come alive. We want people to know it's there. We're printing material with us to give out in one-on-one meetings or prospecting, but also make phone calls. Make sure you read it. Did you see our LinkedIn post? I call my roommate from college, who's a pretty good sized account all the time, and say, did you watch the video this morning? What are you doing? Don't just call and have words with me because you think it goes up or down. Be part of this. And really, I hope that's a long way of saying, make it really easy.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Tracy, Don, anything to add to that? Have you also utilized those, or how has that helped you in your process?
Well, as you talked about doing the events and whatnot, utilizing the events, utilizing the product partners, whether it's Jim Goldman or one of the strategic partners that's here. First of all, you're getting somebody's an expert speaker. You're sharing with your clients. But whether you have 160 people show up or 10 people show up to a Zoom, you sent it out to X amount of clients and you put it on social media. Even if people didn't attend, they know you're doing stuff like this. So you're still bringing value in, and you're putting it on your website. You have a list of events you're doing. Everybody's not coming to them. That's okay, because you can reference it. When you meet a new prospect, what value are you doing? Well, I do marketing seminars, I do Social Security seminars, I do Medicare seminars, I do college planning seminars, and you can invite people to them. So it's another value add that, again, we want attendance, we want people to show up, we want to get the clients signing up, but just to be able to show that you're doing it, you've already are different than a large percentage of advisors that are out there.
Can I add one thing to that? Saying we have all the time is that no is as good as a yes, because they know they saw it, right? We know we engaged in it. I'd be fine phoning it. I'm happy that we did the muscle memory to set up an invitation.
Exactly.
One thing that we do, and I think literally everybody can do this very easily in Marketing Central, is if you were mapping out your own client communication plan, you could say, okay, every quarterly update that Gene sends out, or any strategic partner that you love sends out, you could have it set up to be uploaded into automatic. If there's another one like you can upload it into Marketing Central and have it sent out. But then also when these crazy things happen, like there's a tariff announcement, everybody produces a quick little white paper. Every partner, everybody says, hey, this is what you need to know. And I found that when we send that out to clients, they know that you're on top of it. So then you get less phone calls when these crazy things happen. Because you're basically saying, hey, I've got my eye on this. Here's how tariff changes might affect you. Here's how, the whatever is going on right now might affect you. I promise you I'm looking at it. You usually don't get phone calls on it. So it shows clients that, you're doing your job, you're doing all the things behind the scenes, and you're staying in communication with them along the way. So.
Can I add something to that?
Yeah.
Another, most of our product partners, when we're sharing stuff with clients, the one thing I've learned is they don't care if it says XYZ company. Most of them will allow us to white label. So not only can we do what Tracy said, sending it out, if you've got a brand, all you have to do is ask the product partner, can I white label it You put your brand on it, it's a direct disclosure, you send it to everybody, and now you're sending to the clients, and it looks like you produced it, which makes you even look more valuable to your prospects and clients instead of sending it out by XYZ product.
Yeah, I was hearing from an advisor yesterday that said, "Can I put my logo on this?" I said, "Yes," because that sounds.
But always ask. Do not
Always ask.
change, do not white label somebody product without asking.
Yeah, go through pinpoint. All right, great. So I'm going to shift gears a little bit because we want to get kind of into the next section, which is about data and intelligence. So you've probably heard now several times across all of the meetings that we've had over the past couple of days about Intelligence Engine, which is the new suite of solutions that Cetera recently launched. It's an umbrella solution, Intelligence Engine, and it has a lot of different technologies and resources underneath that umbrella that can help you to expand share of wallet. Why is this so important? I think now we've heard this a couple of times, but it's worth repeating that in a recent Hearts and Wallet study, it was found that on average, financial advisors are only capturing about 39% of assets. So we have 61% of client assets that we could potentially be finding and uncovering and helping them manage so that they do have a full financial picture in front of them. So Dominic, I'm going to turn to you first for this question. I would just like to hear some of the tools that you've utilized and how they've helped you to achieve the goals that we were hoping to.
First and foremost, we're all blessed. Cetera gives us the opportunity to vet some fantastic tech offerings that we can utilize with our clients. I'm going to talk about 3 of them right now. 2 and I every client sit down, I onboard with Nike. Because I do a risk questionnaire with them, I make the client more comfortable. I do an IPS, which is an investment policy statement at the end. It shows them the range of where they're going to invest in. So when we have events like the tariffs and the market goes down, the clients can look at their IPS and say, okay, well, Dominic showed me that we have a 95% probability of potentially being down this much. It limits my calls. I can be proactive now with calling clients instead of getting, in 2007, 2008, whoever was in the business, we didn't have a lot of this tech. For 3 months, all I did was walk clients off the cliff.
Yeah.
The last few years since I've had this technology, I've gotten 0 phone calls because of the market. 0 with any client that has this. Think about how much time that gives you back. Jump AI, a new technology that we have. I'm not a great note taker. I do not want to take the time and write a whole dissertation of what happened on an appointment. I'll put stuff in there, but now with this, I put it on the table if it's in person, it's on Zoom, if it's there, and in a few minutes I have a great dissertation of the meeting. I've got a great email to send to the clients that now took me minutes as opposed to hours. But even more importantly, I can help prospect, because I'm a 2-person team, that I know today you're not meeting Stefan, but if you call up and I happen to be away at a conference, I happen to be sick, or I'm going to be on vacation, Stefan can go into your file and he's got a great outline of what we spoke about, almost like he was on the appointment. So now I've added more value to the client or the prospect, where they even say, oh my God, I love that. And then lastly, one of our new platforms is Wealth.com. That's been giving me a great amount of wallet share, because every client I call up to offer to, like, oh my God, I need that, and then I tell them our pricing. And I've had clients I've called up on Tuesday, and like, can you sit down tomorrow? Because they know how important it is and the value I'm giving. And more importantly, after that, some of them don't give me referrals. They want to now refer me to people for this, where now, if I get them for an estate plan, I'm going to see their assets. Their advisor doesn't have an estate plan option, or can't give them the pricing I'm giving. So I know I'm going to get the assets now that I might not have gotten because those clients were not referring me potentially this week.
Yeah. Look, I wanted to add with Jump AI. It's a great note taker, but the efficiencies that it creates, and I know you've probably heard the Jump AI story like 10 times since you've been with it, I'll just add to that. The efficiencies that it creates with the to-do list, so it creates action items from the list. And you can easily go in after the meeting and assign that to people on your team. So you can say, okay, Tracy needs to redo their portfolio, Kathleen needs to schedule them for another meeting, Kathleen needs to do whatever. And it connects with your CRM, and then obviously whoever's supposed to do it gets the task with the date. It can be categorized by what kind of task it is. Is it a scheduling task? Is it a making an appointment task? What is it? So you can do the appointments. You have the email follow-up where it creates an email for you. And once you start using it, if you have certain meeting types that you do all the time, like we have a discovery meeting, I have the same questions in that discovery meeting. We have a client check-in, kind of have the same format. It will, if you send that information to their team, they'll create a customized follow-up email note format just for your meeting that always pops up for that meeting type. So it's more organized and aligned with what you talk about and you know you want to talk about. So it creates saves so much time. I know for me, I like to send a follow-up email and it would just slow me down because, and I've tried everything. I even created at some point a notes template for my meetings. So a document where, what's going on with the client, what's in this section, and all these things. This is already done in one, and you don't have to spend a whole lot of time communicating to your team what happens next, communicating to the client what happens next, getting your notes into Redtail or into Wellbox. It's just already done for you.
Yeah.
One thing to what Tracy said, if you're going to try any of these text or software platforms, learn them first, then customize. Don't try to customize day one.
Yeah, we'll get into some best practices later, which I think we'll come back to. So, Tracy, you have also utilized in the retirement planning category ATS, which I know you spoke about earlier today. But for those of you in the audience or in the other session about ATS, we would love for you to dig into this strategy a little bit more for us and how you've utilized it again to expand share of wallet.
So ATS to me, it creates a process around portfolio allocation and retirement income plan. So it's a tool to allocate your client portfolio and come up with a retirement income plan and show them an income that they cannot outlive in retirement. And so being able to do that every single time with the client, whether they are a comprehensive financial planning client through where I use money, or we just need to make sure they have enough income. So we're just using the ATS system. I've never seen a system that's so easy to get the information in there. Again, compared to money or maybe even Right Capital or MoneyGuide Pro, it takes 15 minutes to get the information in there, but when you get on the back end, it's so powerful because you're able to sit down with the client and show them this is how much money you'll have when you get to retirement based on the assets that you've shown me here. It shows you see all of your assets. You can see what you segmented as available for retirement, what's not available. So they can still see this bucket over here is still for whatever else. It's my business, it's my savings, it's not available. And you're able to show them not only just really clearly what that total number is, how much of it is Social Security, how much is maybe a pension, how much is rental income, and how much is coming from their portfolio. So they can see it, they can see how likely it will fail. They've got a Monte Carlo thing in there. And they build, what I love about it is, they build so many levels of conservative estimates in there that they will have more money than this. You can feel very confident saying the worst case scenario is this because we assumed you've got 5 buckets. We assumed in bucket 1 you're only going to earn 4% a year, but historically this is really earned about 6.5% a year, so they're really going to be okay. So for me, it's been great. We used this on a client who, she came into the office because she was having a life change. She had decided on retiring for 2 years, and I need to know that all the things I've done are okay. And she brought all her stuff in. We already had a lot of her information in eMoney, but we moved it over into ATS so I could clearly show her. And she kept honing in on, this is my number, I have this much. This is a doctor, very smart woman. This is how much I'm going to have. And it made her feel very comfortable because she was so stressed out about having to sell her business for a certain value to be able to be okay for retirement. And I was able to show her, with all the assets right there, you're okay with what you have, even if you don't sell the business, but still sell it because, now that she's on track, her goal is to get $1 million for it. for me, it created another opportunity because I know that when she sells that business, that $1 million comes in, or whatever comes in, that'll also go into her portfolio. So I've seen that response from clients repeatedly. This is my number. So, and it sounds so, elementary. This is my number. And they feel very comfortable moving forward. And you've not even talked about products. So this whole thing happens. You've never talked about, well, in this league, we're going to do a management account. In this league, we're going to do an income annuity. You've never even talked about it because it's so clearly communicated that because of all these pieces, this is how much you'll have. And then we'll talk about the strategy behind it in another meeting. So it makes it very simple to explain. It's very visual. And I appreciate it compared to, and I still use money, but compared to more complicated planning, it's just a really good visual. So.
Yeah, absolutely. It would be a good commercial for ATS. So, I mean, this is my number.
I think they said that earlier.
Really? All right. So, obviously you guys have had a lot of success with these solutions, but obviously this isn't something that happens overnight. It's hard to implement these solutions. So what best practices would you have for someone who's maybe looking to implement one of these solutions? How are the ways that you've kind of overcome the hurdle of, yes, I have this software, but I haven't quite used it yet? Dominic, maybe I'll start with you there.
Great question. The first thing I'm going to do is any of the software platforms you've heard about today or learned about with Cetera through the conference is call the companies up. Every one of them has some form of a free trial. Some are better than others, like ATS. They're giving it to you now for 3 months, not even counting July. So if you haven't tried it, you can get 3 months plus these next 2 weeks for free. So you can try it. Well, I know Lump does, I know Jump does, I know Nitrogen does. So try them out. One thing I wanted to point out with Jump, I forgot to say is, if you have an AFP and you don't want to be on every appointment and you want to learn how they're doing, it does a meeting score. So you can actually use Jump to not only get the notes from the meeting, but you can train your AFP or somebody that's going on calls that you're not on and make them better without even being on the call.
I would say it just takes time. So, one of the questions in one of the other sessions was something like, I'm a solo advisor, how can I do all these things in Marketing Central and it's just me? And I think before you implement any of these, you do have to acknowledge that you have to dedicate some time to it, right? So with Marketing Central, I think if you spent, an afternoon, a day, mapping out here, and maybe even, again, chat with friends, come up here, I would like to send 12 communications out in a year to my network and my database, map out a calendar, right? And 4 of them could be quarterly updates, one of them could be Merry Christmas, one could be Happy New Year, here's a checklist for the new year, and then you figure out the ones in between. Map all that out in the beginning, and then you can go into Marketing Central and figure out what other ones you need to fill in the gap. Then you can automate it. And so if you spend a lot of time on the front end with Marketing Central, that's a great start because then you have a whole year of monthly communications going out that you can build on later. For ATS, there is a learning curve, but they have a great team, and I personally put into my process, before I even present an ATS plan with the client, before we even talk about it, they have their little scheduling link, I jump on their calendar for about 45 minutes, we go through the whole plan together just to make sure how would you have looked at it, if you've done anything differently. Sometimes we tweak stuff, most of the time it's fine, but you just have to know that it takes a minute. And so ATS, I've been working with that for a couple of years now, and I still went to the 3-hour session yesterday, Monday, and learned something new because I don't know it all. They just, like Don said, they have a great team. And so plan to dedicate time into it, even if it's, my schedule is like on Mondays and Fridays, I don't schedule client meetings, so this will be a Friday task for me. Like a Friday, block off a couple of hours to just work on your plan to make sure that you're, still learning something new. So give it time.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. All right, so we're coming up in kind of the last 15 minutes or so, and I want to make sure that we do leave time for questions. So I'm going to go round robin here, and we're just going to give a final thought, best practice, something that you would like to share with the audience that you want them to take away. So Paul, I would love to start with you.
So tactics before strategy doesn't really work. So I highly recommend that you think through what are the areas that are important to your practice, that align with your culture, your ethos, and the values that you're trying to portray. List them out, and you think about the quadrants like these are the items that they most align with what we're trying to accomplish, and this is how well we're doing at executing, right? And so when you get to those things that are high alignment but low execution, those are the things then that you're going to start to prioritize. Then set your tactics and use these tools to meet that need, as opposed to adjusting your practice and needing new tool that came along because it's new. Does that help?
Dominic?
Great question. I go to 6 to 8 conferences a year, and the one thing I've learned is you want to try to prioritize 1 to 3 ideas you're going to come from work with. And the way I do that is I have an AI note taker that I've been using for years at conferences that takes all my notes so I can listen and pay attention. I'm actually taking notes today for this so I can go back and review what I've done and maybe get some ideas from my fellow peers that I can implement that I might not have thought of. And now I can go back, look at it, say, these are my 1 to 3 ideas, and implement them. Because if I try to implement 10 ideas from a conference, within a month, I forgot what they were, didn't do it, and what value did I get from the company. I want to grow, obviously you all are here because you want to grow, so that's my best piece of advice, is try to narrow it down to 1 to 3 ideas and implement them, and hopefully next year see you again in your group.
Yeah.
And what I'd add to that is, because you may have more than 3 ideas, but also give it a 30, 60 to 90 day time frame. So if you have all these ideas, whatever your takeaways, what can I need to get done when I get back? What can I get done in 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, just to make sure that you can actually execute it. And I think I feel like this conference, we talk a lot about technology in a lot of the different sessions, all the resources that Satira has. I just feel like we're in a space where you have to embrace it, and I guess it's about scaling, and maybe also about creating efficiencies and a better client experience. You don't have to do all the things you heard. I think Valerie talked about we have a quiz to help figure out where you should start. But we really just do have to embrace it and figure out what systems make sense for my practice to make my life easier, make my clients' life easier. And even with all the things that we use, every year I do an audit because I always feel like I have so many subscriptions to figure out which one may not be adding value anymore and needs to kind of go, or which one do we need to add. But just, have to embrace technology to continue to grow our practices.
Brett, have a thought?
We have something we talk about in our office all the time, is that we're constantly looking for an unfair advantage. We're not just growing a business, we're growing a brand, and we think our brand is an unfair advantage. And I think for us to have gotten from where we were to where we are, we had a really honest conversation, not just about who we wanted to be, but who was our competition? And again, it was both honest and aspirational, but we're all aspirational. And we wanted our brand to be a big part of our unfair advantage. And we're seeing that play out, but we put the work into it.
Well, thank you all so much for your insights. I think that they were invaluable for our audience. I hope that they were invaluable for our audience, that you each have a great key takeaway. So I'd like to thank you all for sharing, and a quick round of applause. Now we would love to leave it open for some questions. I know it's towards the end of the day, but hopefully we have a little bit more energy and some questions and Q&A discussion that we can have. We have one right here, and we'll pass along a microphone, so after this question, just raise your hand if you have one.
Sure. I had a quick question for Tracy regarding the ATS. Is that integrated the same way that MoneyGuide is, in the sense that it pulls in like accounts that are at Satera and all the linked accounts as well?
Not yet. We're working on it.
Okay.
It doesn't take long to put it in there, though. But not yet.
And how does it compare to the MoneyGuide calculator?
I don't use MoneyGuide. I use eMoney, but because I'll do an eMoney plan and I'll do ATS too, and I compare the numbers that come out very similar. So that's like my double check to make sure that we did it right.
Got it. Thank you.
Can I address, because I've done what you just asked? When I'm trying to get a prospect, I'll actually do a MoneyGuide plan and the ATS, because MoneyGuide is what most of our competitors use. And I'll show them that, and I'll show them how much better ATS is to show the value add that we have.
Quick question. 3 ideas. What are your best ideas you've learned last couple of days? Would you share them with us? Something you're taking home so we can also learn from your experience?
I feel like I've heard a lot, but one thing that really resonated with me is all the money that will be in transition with the grade 12 transfer over the next 10 years, and making sure that I'm in position as a thought leader and in a position to capture some of those assets. I've heard over and over and over again, what are you doing to engage the next generation and your clients and children and all those things. And so I just think I really need to be more proactive about that.
I'm gonna tell you what I do, and I do apply a note implement, because I use the AI note taker. On my flight home, I go through every session and look at the key points and then start taking them then. But I do have one that I do like that I don't implement. In the Cetera Investors Community Session, one of the advisors is using my rep chat, and every time she's a new client, she's scheduling out a 3, 6, 9, and year text to all the new clients, just checking how they're doing. And it's scheduled, so it looks like we're sending it that day on the anniversary, so I am going to implement that.
Huh? So, I learned that the night parade and fireworks is too long for a 2.5-year-old. I've learned that whether I'm at home or here, overeating is still overeating. And I've learned that these are my people, this is my community, and I'm delighted to be with you all.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a good question. So that's my project for my plane ride home later, to think about what I learned. But I think that, to me, it was just a confirmation that we're at the right place at the right time, and we keep doing what we're doing, and we're going to get where we want to go. And that may seem too obvious, but I think we're doing a lot of good things. We just need to execute.
Vibes have been high. That's good. All right, we have another question.
Hello, great presentation today. I have a question. Do anybody still use snail mail? Do you send out birthday cards versus email, or even follow-up letters?
So, it's just going to sound really ridiculous, but we sent out for the first time ever a Christmas card last year. It was a team-based card, and you have no idea how happy we were about it. I don't know I think people saw it, people did mention it to us, we were really happy we did it. We definitely send out for any of the events we have. We do send an electronic invitation, but we send a formal, very nice, it wasn't in slide, invitation out, and I know people get it and say they saw it, and they show it around, and we think it has legs. We're not sending a lot of stuff out, but when we do, we put a big stamp on it and make a big deal out of it. And I didn't talk about this, but we had some very nice brochures made about our firm. That was part of our process, and had picture presentation decks done behind it. We will send a brochure out to a prospect, and I'm sure it gets looked at. I mean, we've walked in to see the clients, and there it is on their desk or their dining room table or whatever it was. I still believe people like to get mail. It just has to be something good.
We do birthday cards and Thanksgiving and New Year's cards to our top clients. Everybody else gets an e-greeting. And then for Valentine's Day, we send out a tree. It's not a card though. I usually do a goodie. And this last year we did something from Cheryl Street, and it was this flower bouquet out of cookies. I didn't realize it was like 3 feet tall. So I got and it was like $30 or something. So the price didn't match the size. And so I received all these pictures and messages like, oh my gosh, we got the 30 cookie bouquet. This is so great. So it was an unexpected surprise. So we do things like that during the year, but the birthday cards and the Thanksgiving and New Year's cards go out to our top clients.
I'm all tech. Unless I gotta send mail, I don't use it.
I wish I never got anything in the mail ever.
These are me.
I would really be content to get mail once a week. I just don't feel like it's a very effective way to communicate anymore, and the miscues and things
I like it when I get a good new client, I have Pandora stickers made, and I put them on the liquor bottle and find out the person likes to drink, so it's on their bar. So I'll hand deliver it, so now it's on the bar, people can see Pandora on XYZ bottle of liquor.
Yeah.
Did you get permission to white label that?
Yes, I call it all the liquor companies.
Right, any other questions? All right, well, thank you all so much for your time, for your attention. We hope that you have some great takeaways. If you have some time on your way to general session, stop by, talk to our advisor marketing team, and we'll see you soon. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.